Okay, thank you for joining us here today. My name is Mickey Freeman, and I'm the Innovation Officer at the Cape Breton Partnership, and will be your host on behalf of Carla Arsenault, the President and CEO of the Cape Breton Partnership. Before we get started, we'll have Jeremy, our Communications Coordinator, describe some of the functions of this platform.
Thank you very much, Mickey. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again. We are using Zoom for this webinar once again. For those of you who are not familiar, Zoom will allow you to ask questions throughout the presentation. So at the bottom of the screen, please take a look and you'll see a little Q&A button there. During the presentation, that may be at the top or bottom of your screen, but either way, if you click that button, you can type in your questions, and in the order in which they're asked, we'll make sure that we get to them throughout the presentation. For those of you that we do not get to, we will try to reach out at a later time to share whatever information we can. You can also use the chat function down below to let us know if you have any questions or would like to share some information. I will make my email and my phone number available so that if you do have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. As we go, please feel free to reach out. And in the meantime, Mickey, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thanks, Jeremy. So as we all continue to navigate this new and different world of COVID-19, our hopes is that Cape Bretonners are staying healthy and safe. One of our primary purposes at the Cape Breton Partnership is to connect people from any industry to supports, information, and resources they need to be successful. Our team has been reaching out to a number of businesses and investors to understand the current reality and most pressing concerns of businesses to determine what would be most helpful. As a result of that feedback, we've been hosting a webinar series. If you missed the previous six webinars, you can watch them on our website, Cape Breton, at www.capebretonpartnership.com. They cover topics from social media marketing, legal concerns, and cybersecurity. On our website, there is also a host of resources available, which we update regularly with information from all levels of government. These webinars always go better with lots of questions and interactions, so please use the Q&A function as Jeremy described, and let us know if there are any future topics you'd like to see. So after the presentations today, I'll start the questions off and then open the floor to the Q&A. Feel free to put your questions during the presentation, but we may not get to them all. We will work to include additional information on our website after the webinar if some questions can't be answered immediately. And as Jeremy mentioned, we can also supply our email addresses, and the contacts of the presenters will be available as well. So today we have representatives from Nova Scotia Works, Jane Orrell, Jackie Holmes, and Shannon Murray. So thank you for being here today, and I'm now going to hand it over to them.
Thank you, Mickey. I just wanted to say how happy we are to be here today to bring an update to our partners and our community on our response to COVID-19. And I wanted to say a very special thank you to the Cape Breton Partnership for hosting the webinar today and for inviting us to participate.
Nous sommes heureux d'être ici aujourd'hui pour fournir une mise à jour à nos partenaires et à la communauté sur notre réponse à COVID-19. Et merci au Cape Breton Partnership d'avoir accueilli le webinaire aujourd'hui.
Although we have suspended in-person services, Nova Scotia Works centers are very much operational and available to provide services to Cape Breton employers and job seekers through telephone, email, and virtual platforms. All of our employees have been set up to work remotely to continue to provide these services to job seekers and employers through this very challenging time.
Les centres de nouvelles cases au travail sont disponibles pour offrir les services aux employeurs et aux chercheurs d'emploi du Cape Breton par les plateformes téléphoniques, électroniques et virtuelles. Tous nos employés sont en mesure de travailler à distance pour continuer à fournir des services aux chercheurs d'emploi et aux employeurs pendant cette période très difficile.
We do recognize that many essential service providers have unprecedented recruitment needs at this time, and we are working diligently to reach out to those employers to support them in their recruitment efforts and to provide information to them on government resources available to access.
On reconnaît que de nos fournisseurs de services sociaux ont des besoins de recrutement sans précédent. Et nous travaillons pour rejoindre ces employeurs et les appuyer dans leur processus de recrutement et pour leur fournir de l'information sur les ressources gouvernementales disponibles.
Nova Scotia Works continues to offer services to new and existing clients via our virtual platforms. If you are currently accessing services through a Nova Scotia Works Centre, please reach out to your Nova Scotia Work contact via telephone or email. If you now require employment services support, we are here to help you.
Nouvelle Caisse au Travail continue à offrir des services aux nouveaux clients et aux clients existants via les plateformes virtuelles. Si vous accédez présentement au service d'une centre de Nouvelle Caisse au Travail, veuillez communiquer avec votre contact de celui par téléphone ou par courriel. Si vous avez besoin d'appui en service d'emploi, nous sommes là pour vous aider.
Our current online and virtual services include employer services. We have an online job board. Supports and resources are available. There are online workshops, online training programs, and we continue to offer career services and resume support via virtual platforms.
Voici les services que nous pouvons vous offrir. Services aux employeurs, babillard d'emploi en ligne, soutien et ressources, ateliers en ligne et formation, services de carrière et appui pour créer votre CV.
And here you will see our contact information, and we encourage employers and job seekers to contact a Nova Scotia Works Centre near you for any of the services that we've outlined. For bilingual service provision, please contact Nova Scotia Works Island Employment.
Voici nos contacts. On encourage les employeurs et les chercheurs d'emploi à communiquer avec un des centres de Nouvelle Caisse au Travail près de chez vous. Pour le service bilingue, veuillez communiquer avec le centre de Nouvelle Caisse au Travail Island Employment.
And before we respond to any questions, I think it's important for us to note that we recognize that many businesses are currently struggling. We know that it will be challenging for some businesses to ramp back up when restrictions have been lifted, and we want you to know that we will be there to help lift you up. We will help you to get connected to resources available through government. We know that a lot of Cape Bretoners as well have been laid off due to COVID-19, and we want you to know that we are here to help you. When restrictions are lifted, we'll help support local businesses to help return you to work, to your current job. We'll continue to connect people to jobs and jobs to people for those who may not have a job to return to. In the meantime, we are offering a number of our resources as indicated via virtual platforms and online webinars. So please reach out to us. Please follow our Facebook pages where you'll find a lot of the information related to the online services. And we'll now take any questions.
Thanks very much. There's very good insights there, and thanks again for volunteering your time today. So we'll now introduce the Q&A session, so please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A section.
Jane, Shannon, and Jackie, one question that I got through email here to me. Could you go through a little bit about the process as you currently find it in these times? Usually, you know, you can meet with people, they'll come down to your office and you can go to them, or all that other stuff. Can you talk a little bit about maybe how that works virtually right now in the world we find ourselves in?
Sure, I'll speak to that. Right now, because we don't offer in-person services, as Jane said, we can be contacted by email or by phone. Many of our staff are working using virtual platforms to meet with clients. When people don't have access to computers, we're trying as much as possible to do what we can by telephone. Yeah, so we're being creative about how we can offer our services, and we're willing to try new things. So there's new platforms all the time we're experimenting with to be able to offer workshops, you know, just try to provide the same services that we offer on a regular basis, but just virtually or over telephone. So we can do intakes over the telephone. We can do a lot of service offerings just that way if people don't have access to the technology.
I'll just add that we have found a rework or been able to work around pretty much everything to date. I will say that, you know, it certainly hasn't been an easy process, but we have found a workaround for pretty much everything to date. So every bit of the service that would have been accessible in an in-person platform is still available, and it's available virtually.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I think we have some questions.
We do have some questions. The first one was, how is the virtual assistance going, and are your participants finding it hard to learn the new tools?
I will say that there definitely have been some challenges. There's been some challenges with in terms of document transfer. So as many people would know, depending on what type of system you are using, the document that you might receive might look a little bit different when you open it compared to others, or if it's a fillable form. When you fill the form in and it's returned, sometimes they've come back blank. So we've been having to solve all of those sort of technical issues as we go. It has meant a lot more time on the telephone with individual clients, whether it's a client or an employer, a job seeker or an employer. So it's taking quite a bit more time to get through the process, but we haven't had a case where we have not been able to work through the process to date.
We're even using old-fashioned snail mail in some instances to be able to service clients.
Thanks, Jane.
You're welcome.
Another question there is, has there been any indication of when offices will be open again, or when can they date new full-time programs?
So as of right now, we are, Nova Scotia Works centers across the province are looking at dates of return and planning for that return, and planning for all of the safety measures that we'll need to have in place when we do return. And we are following the directions from the Department of Health at this stage and government. So as it's a moving target at this time. Right now we have our tentative date as May the 4th, but that date may change depending upon directives from the Department of Health.
And will that be updated online somewhere as time goes on?
Yes, we will be posting that via all of our virtual all of our platforms. So people will be able to see if there's been a change in the date that we plan to reopen.
Yeah, so it may be really important for people if they're not connected to our social media platforms at this point to get connected. That way you can be, you know, we're sending out regular information as well as posting jobs and employer information on a daily basis.
Thank you. Another question is, which industry or industries is or are hiring the most right now? Which professionals are most in need at the moment, and how is NS Works addressing this issue?
Obviously, essential service provision is where at the moment you're going to see the highest demand in job opportunities. And where those industries reach out, you will notice, as Jackie said, that we'll be posting those via our social media platforms. When we get a request from an industry, if they're looking for one person or a number of individuals, we'll reach out through our own databases to look at individuals who have the skill to fit that job, provide the information so that they're able to apply for the position to the individual, and then we'll also post it on our social media platforms. I would say that you're looking at healthcare positions. There are a lot of in the healthcare industry, everything from registered nurses to licensed practical nurses. A lot of positions that are available in the long-term care facilities, continuing care assistants, cleaners. We're seeing a lot of postings in the food services industry, grocery stores. Jackie, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to add delivery drivers is the one that we've been seeing a little bit that wasn't mentioned.
And we have had a fair number of requests from security service providers as well.
Thank you. There was a question similar to that as well, but I'll move on. Can you highlight the process involved when a potential client wants to contact a Nova Scotia Works facility to develop a resume with the hopes of obtaining employment as a result of COVID, and different service options available? In other words, career practitioner and job developer services completed virtually, perhaps?
Do you want to answer that one, Jackie?
Yep. Yeah, and actually it's a good time for people to focus on things like resume improvement and working on some of those tools that they will need when this comes back online. Right now, if for us to contact us by email or over the phone, and we'll set up an appointment for somebody to work with you. We are working on trying to get, and Jane may be already offering this, but we're working on trying to get towards some resume workshops and stuff online so that people will be able to do that. But there definitely is one-on-one help. You just need to contact us.
Yeah, the only thing I will add is that there are virtual webinars that are currently being offered through a number of Nova Scotia Works centers. If you follow social media and you type in Nova Scotia Works, you'll be able to participate in a virtual webinar on various topics, resume writing being one of those topics, and you can participate no matter where you are in the province.
Thank you. And in the creative industry, are there any opportunities right now? Marketing and other creatives as well?
That's not an area where I've seen a great deal of uptake at the moment. Jackie, you?
No, not so much.
No.
I don't think we've really seen any. No.
And across the province, we have not heard from our colleagues, Nova Scotia Works colleagues across the province, surrounding a significant demand in that area at the present time.
Another question, a question I've got, Shannon, thanks a lot for providing some Francophone content today as well. How are you finding the opportunities in our Francophone communities across the island as far as Nova Scotia Works offices and in employment opportunities and all that stuff goes?
So currently there are 3 designated offices in Cape Breton Island. So we have our Shetty Camp office, and we have our Port Hawkesbury office, and then there's an office in Sydney. So it's business as usual in terms of if you choose to have services in the Francophone language. So there's an option on Port Hawkesbury and Sydney to collect for French. So we have our designated staff. So it's business as usual.
Thank you.
Jeremy, are you receiving any further questions there?
That was the last one I received on this end, but maybe we'll ask one more time. If anyone has any questions at all, please send them in through the Q&A tool, and we'll see them answered. We have one more question coming in, but all they've said is that they have the question so far is I have a question and then 1 second, so they're drafting the question.
I think one of the other things while we're waiting for that question that I'll mention is that this is typically a time Nova Scotia Works Centers see a lot of individuals who are interested in skills development training, and many of the Nova Scotia Works Centers are offering virtual sessions for individuals who are interested in participating in sessions to find out more information on skills development opportunities that might be available to them. So they're currently available also through a webinar series that's being offered through Nova Scotia Works Centers. Oh, we have a number of questions just came in.
Few questions coming in there. The first one there, for industries that aren't in demand, would you still recommend job seekers get in touch with you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would say yes, because we anticipate that there will be a significant demand in a short period of time once restrictions have been lifted and we go back to what will be our new normal. I see as a new normal, it may not be, things may not go back in a fashion that we would like immediately to what we would have seen pre-COVID-19, but I do anticipate that there will be significant demand for positions in particular industries. So I would highly recommend that people reach out now and get themselves prepared.
Great, and you just mentioned a skills development webinar, Jane. How do they find out about that, or how do they find that?
They can find out about that on our social media platform. If they have any difficulty finding that, they can email us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's currently offered once a week.
Another question there is, can you outline any programs focused on small business owners? In other words, wage subsidy opportunities and how the application process might look virtually?
Mm-hmm. So currently we are still working with employers through virtual platforms to apply for wage incentive programs that would have been available to them pre-COVID-19. We don't know as of yet whether there will be any additional wage subsidies beyond what existed pre-COVID-19 available. If there is, we will work to connect employers the same way that we are now and have been pre-COVID-19. So employers can still access, as an example, START, Opportunities Fund, Direct Skills Link, and other type, the Graduate to Opportunity, programs. So there are many incentive programs that employers can access. To find out more information about those programs, they can reach out to us. We'll connect them with our employer engagement specialists. In every Nova Scotia Works Centre, there are employer engagement specialists that work directly with employers surrounding these types of programs. So please reach out. We'd be happy to help.
Thanks, Jane. A longer question, but recently our clients have been looking for a possible start date in our property maintenance social business line. We've reached out to government on both federal and provincial levels to find out if we were safe to start our services. We were given a go-ahead. Are you seeing many lawn care or construction companies looking for employees? There seems to be confusion on outdoor work when speaking with government.
I haven't seen any uptake in those areas at all yet, and I can't speak to what is permitted at this point.
No, I would agree. I haven't seen any uptake on that. I will say that personally, I've received information from a lawn care provider, and you know, I anticipate that lawn care provision will continue, but I'm sure that the directive that's being provided to them is not something that we would be aware of. They would still be required to follow the directives from the Department of Health. There is still recruitment that's happening. I mean, we're seeing, you know, Cabot Links as an example. I know that we posted something today. I think there was 41 or 49 different positions that they're looking to fill. So they're very much in planning mode to begin preparation to start getting things in place for when the restrictions get lifted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it says since the creative industry isn't in heavy demand at the moment, or how can creative industry professionals, including marketing professionals, still get hired in this time? So, for example, can they, you know, pivot maybe in other industries that can't find workers?
So again, I think, Jackie, I don't know if you have any suggestions on this, but my suggestion would be to please follow our social media platforms. All of the positions that are available in our local area are posted via our social media platforms. And if you need some support on redesigning your resume and a cover letter to demonstrate the skills that are necessary for these positions, please reach out to us. We would be only too happy to help.
I agree. We even had an incident on the north side last week, not even an incident, but where an employer needed a number of people immediately, and those positions were filled like in a day. And then he was saying, take the post down. So you want to be connected to know what actually is coming through the tube, because the jobs are going quite quickly.
Thank you. We have someone who works at the Horizon Achievement Center, and they're wondering how you're finding people with disabilities are coping.
Well, in general, I would say that we do check-ins daily with our staff, and one of the things that we have heard is that there a lot of job seekers are experiencing some tremendous stress, some having some issues with coping, and as a result of hearing these concerns being brought forward, and our staff having to spend quite a fair amount of time talking to their clients and to job seekers who are feeling hopeless at this stage, some of them feeling hopeless at this stage, we have developed a webinar, which is also offered online and can be found through our social media platform. In addition to that, all of the Nova Scotia Work Centres are posting information available to individuals who may be experiencing some challenges with their mental wellness. and opportunities for them to participate in other programs that are offered through other organizations. And there are many out there. So we encourage you to check out our social media platforms. In addition to our website, there's a lot of information that is also posted for employers and individuals on our websites as well.
We do have a few more questions, but I just want to add that we have a poll that we're hoping that attendees can fill out, and it'll really help go a long way in informing us on how to keep improving these webinars as we go. So you should actually see that coming on your screen now, and I'll let the questions resume.
So we do have another question. Are there any health and safety concerns for those seeking employment? How prepared are employers to address those concerns, or how are they dealing with them?
I mean, of course, there are health and safety concerns in a lot of the essential services areas, but I think employers are, from what we can visibly see, are kind of rising to meet the challenge. We can't really speak on behalf of employers and how they're doing, but I mean, if they need assistance, that's some area they can reach out to our employer engagement specialists, maybe in some way that we can help them troubleshoot what they need to do as employers. But other than that, we can't really speak to how prepared employers are generally.
One of the things that we've thought about doing, we haven't done it as of yet, but we've developed our own plan surrounding our return to in-person service operations, which we would be willing to share with any of the companies that we partner with who have not or are not in a position to develop that on their own, and we'd be happy to share that. And those are measures that we plan on putting into place ourselves to protect the safety of our employees and the community in general, and individuals who are accessing our service when we do return.
Thanks, Shane. Please, if there are any more questions, get them into the Q and answer section there. And we'll just give it a minute, see if any other questions come up. Maybe everyone's busy filling out the poll, but if there are any more questions, please type them now. This is being recorded, and we have been posting our webinar sessions on our YouTube channel. So if you did miss part of this or some other of the webinars, they are available. Okay, we have a question came in there. Oh, here they come. The first one there, what industries are looking for employers now? I'm assuming employees, perhaps?
So what industries are looking for employees now? I think this is a question we may have covered already. Primarily what we're seeing right now is in essential service provision. So in the areas of healthcare, cleaners, grocery store workers. Jackie, any to add? Security services?
Delivery.
Delivery drivers?
Yeah, in the homes. Home care.
Long-term care, home care. And the next question How do you feel Nova Scotia Works centers will adapt post-COVID-19? For example, will you continue to have virtual meetings post-COVID-19, or will it return back to standard operations? So I do believe that that virtual meetings will continue to be available to individuals who are not comfortable, who aren't comfortable at this time going into an office in person. So we will continue to offer services through virtual platforms. Currently, there are a number of Nova Scotia Works centers who already have provided virtual some services virtually, and I expect that some will continue to be offered that way. And I believe that virtual webinars will continue to be available as well. But these are discussions that we are still having on a provincial level across the Nova Scotia Works platform, and decisions that will be likely made sometime in the near future.
Yeah, I don't think we won't be offering it these ways, and I think there's so many possibilities, especially for our rural parts of our province, that this could go a long way in servicing those areas where we can't in person.
Yeah, precisely. I think it's not just going to be you folks, it's going to be a variety of different businesses and services. So
yeah.
If there are no more questions, then I'd like to thank you, Jane, Jackie, and Shannon for attending today and giving us so much insight. We really appreciate that, and you know, these are trying times for everyone. So Nova Scotia Works has always been an important service here, especially in Cape Breton, and we really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Mickey,
for
inviting us, and thank you again to the Cape Breton Partnership. I couldn't agree more, Mickey. I think that it will take a collective effort of the entire community to support Cape Breton in these very challenging times. And as we move forward, it's going to be more and more important for us to work collectively and collaboratively to support our business community and job seekers. So thank you for inviting us. Very much appreciated.
And to everyone who attended, thank you for attending and joining us, everyone. As I mentioned at the beginning, we will work to answer outstanding questions when we load this presentation to our website. And for everyone who's still online, sessions next week are currently being planned. One on mental health and well-being, and another one focused on the arts sector. So for those who are asking the questions about some of the creative employment opportunities, there will be one focused on the arts sector as well. So please watch for details on our website and social media. And Jeremy, do you have anything to add?
You know what? I do not. I think that everyone has answered all my questions. And like Mickey said, if you have any further questions, please get a hold of us, and we'll certainly pass along any questions to Jane or Shannon or Jackie and their team. And if you have any questions on the rest of our webinars, please feel free to reach out. We will have this uploaded to YouTube today or tomorrow, and we'll be circulating that to everyone that attended and putting on our website so that if you didn't attend, you can still tune in. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you very much again. And we look forward to seeing some of you next week.
Thanks.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.